Ascent Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Powered by Me, From Burned Out to Fully Charged at Work and in Life, by Neha Sangwan. Narrated by Neha Sangwan. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to figures present in the print and ebook formats of the book. Dedication. To Raj Sisodia. Thank you for being a man as ambitious as you are generous and kind. Your beautiful soul and unconditional love have restored my faith in what is possible for the future of our world. To our ancestors. You innately knew the wisdom of living in connection and harmony with Mother Nature. And to the next generation. Your passion, curiosity, and conviction will guide us back to what matters most. Forward by Mark Hyman, M.D. It's easy to lose ourselves in our overstuffed lives, which are fraught with the endless pressures of work and family, with the relentless barrage of tasks, to-dos, and requests, all while we're trying to manage our health, sleep, and nutrition. In a world under siege from existential threats, climate change, never-ending gun violence, and the constant presence of war, it's easy to get overwhelmed, exhausted, and anxious. Easy to neglect the simple practices of self-care that keep us grounded and resilient. As a young physician with 2 children, a wife struggling with alcoholism and mental illness, and a rural family practice in Idaho who was putting in 80 hours a week, doing 24-hour shifts in the emergency room alone, working all the next day, and delivering babies in the middle of the night, I hit a wall. When I got home, I had to shop, cook, and take care of my young children. I prided myself on my ability to push through the pain and exhaustion. I was powered by caffeine and sugar. After 4 years of overdoing, overgiving, and running myself into the ground, I had to stop. I had intended to take a little break before my next job. We had bought a VW camper van and planned a tour of the West. But as soon as I stopped working, I couldn't move. I literally couldn't get out of bed, or I spent most of my time on the floor, feeling completely drained, as if all the gas in my tank was gone. As a medical student, I was told that real doctors don't need sleep or lunch. I wanted to take my family on a trip, but my body, my nervous system, and my brain all said no. It took 4 months of doing nothing, being at home, walking, sleeping, and renewing myself to finally feel a little better. But I didn't learn my lesson very well. After leaving Idaho, I worked in Beijing, setting up medical clinics for expatriates, before I came back to the United States and got a job in the emergency room, not just 1, but 3 emergency rooms with different schedules. Sometimes I would do 24-hour shifts, sometimes morning or afternoon shifts, sometimes overnight shifts. My schedule was erratic. My circadian rhythms were completely disrupted. I also had to accept the truth that I was married to someone who couldn't face their own demons and who refused treatment and sobriety. I had to fight for sole custody of my 2 young children. Ignoring the signals of my body and jacked up on a quadruple espresso, a pint of ice cream, and a giant chocolate chip cookie, I would head into my night shifts. Then I would come home and get my children ready for school and hope to get a few hours sleep before I had to pick them up. Despite being a trained physician, I had no idea how to create health. One day, everything changed. I went from managing my life, sort of, to total physical and mental collapse. My incessant pushing through whatever life sent my way led to full-blown chronic fatigue syndrome. It was then that I finally had to deal with the choices I had made, the underlying beliefs and habits that no longer served me. Slowly, piece by piece, over a long period of time, I learned how to address the root causes of why I fell apart. First, I quit the emergency room. Then I started slowing down, eliminating extraneous inputs, eating whole foods, doing meditation and yoga, waking and sleeping at regular times, and taking vitamins, minerals, and herbs to support my adrenal glands and build back my stress resilience. For the last 30 years, I have drawn from my own suffering and the lessons I've learned about how the body works and the science of creating health, and applied them to thousands of patients, helping millions more through my books, my podcast, The Doctor's Pharmacy, and social media, empowering them to learn the foundational skills of self-healing and self-care. It's still surprising to me how little we know about how our bodies function or how to properly operate them. In Powered by Me, Dr. Sangwan provides a hard-won roadmap for recovery from any stage of burnout and for building a life founded on a healthy body, mind, and spirit. Learning the operating manual for our bodies is not rocket science. In a step-by-step process of self-inquiry and simple self-care practices, Dr. Sangwan teaches us how to heal. This book is the medicine we need to build a healthy, happy life, healthier relationships, and a healthier world. Mark Hyman, MD, Senior Advisor at Cleveland Clinic Center for Functional Medicine and host of The Doctor's Pharmacy. Forward by James S. Gordon, MD. At the beginning of this energizing, inspiring, happily practical book, Neha Sangwan, MD, gives us a picture of herself 22 years ago, an overworked, undernourished, stressed-out internal medicine physician. Every day, she tells us, in the clean, clear language that makes Powered by Me so accessible, she pushed harder and faster, running headlong in the direction others wanted me to go. She came to realize she was burned out. The picture Neha paints is painfully familiar to physicians and other healthcare professionals, especially since COVID-19's tide of death and loss overwhelmed just about everyone working in healthcare. However, so many others easily recognize the phrase, pushing harder and running faster. I hear the refrain from people I work with everywhere. Unhappy high school students anxious about the future, frustrated police, fearful elected officials, rich people who have what appears to be too much, as well as poor people struggling to survive. Neha not only knows the symptoms, she has also risen to the challenge of dealing with one of burnout's most intimate causes, the inability of so many to recognize what is happening to us and to take charge of ourselves. Step by step, she helps us become aware of the hallmarks of burnout: physical and emotional exhaustion, depression and anger, cynicism and indifference. And she shows us how to regard these challenges as opportunities to recognize, embrace, and grow through and beyond. Neha reminds us that all aspects of our lives, physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual, are interconnected, and that her program for attending to and learning from each of these enhances our functioning and satisfaction in all of them. She guides us in enhancing the self-awareness that tells us which change is appropriate and sustainable. And she gives us tools for dealing with the self-defeating beliefs and fruitless anger we may discover, and a program of meditation, movement, nutrition, and self-expression that reduces stress and enhances well-being. She continually reminds us that we can, indeed, be powered by me. Neha credits me as a mentor, someone who helped her shape her own approach and realize her possibilities and power. I am honored to be her teacher, and now also to be her student, and to share with you this deeply healing, passionately helpful book. James S. Gordon, MD, founder and CEO of the Center for Mind-Body Medicine and author of Transforming Trauma, The Path to Hope and Healing. Chapter 1. How We Got Here. It was early 2001 when I officially became an overworked, undernourished, stressed out internal medicine physician, caring for 18 hospitalized patients a day. By definition, anyone admitted to the hospital was enough of an emergency that they couldn't be handled as an outpatient. I didn't walk. I ran. From task to task, patient to patient, crisis to crisis. Pulled in multiple directions by my pager beeping, lab techs calling, and new medical complications arising, I desperately tried setting priorities to guide my actions, only to have them dismantled by the next emerging catastrophe. My day started by getting sign-out from my coworkers on the night shift. Neha, same as usual. We were slammed last night and understaffed. I've only done cursory workups, and I'm still waiting for lab results and scans. Sorry about that. And rumor has it that the ER and cardiac nurses are short-staffed again today and considering another union strike next week. Good luck. Message received. Do more with less. As I glanced at my new patient list, I saw 2 intensive care patients, a liver transplant patient, 3 more waiting in the ER, and someone who had been in the hospital for 6 months with multiple comorbidities. I felt drained, and the day hadn't even begun. Just before my colleague walked out, he added, "Oh yeah, don't forget there's a mandatory department meeting at noon today. I'll be passed out in the call room. If you don't see me at the meeting, please wake me up. I'm beat." Our department chief began the meeting with, "So team, the theme for this month is efficiency. Leadership has unanimously agreed that the best way to improve hospital flow is to prioritize all patients that are ready to leave and discharge them before 11 a.m. This way we'll know exactly how many beds are available for the day. The 11 a.m. discharges are effective immediately, so please get tomorrow morning's discharges ready today. We'll be tracking your progress, and for those of you that lead the charge, you can expect a bonus at the end of the year." Message received. Faster is better. After the meeting, I approached the department chief and expressed my concern about repeated bullying behavior by a colleague on our team. He looked at me emotionless and responded, "Tyler's a physician partner and one of the most efficient docs we've got. If you hope to become a partner someday, you'll need his vote and mine. Just keep your head down and focus on patient care, okay?" I nodded in disbelief. Message received. Success requires struggle. Every day, I pushed harder and faster, running headlong in the direction others wanted me to go. Until one day, I hit the brick wall of burnout and was put on a 3-month compulsory medical leave to recover. After taking time to heal and reflect, I realized I had been listening to and following everyone else's guidance rather than my own. Burnout forced me to look inward and figure out how I'd gotten so far off track that my body, mind, and heart had shut down on me. Our driving beliefs. We find ourselves in a world moving faster than most of us can keep up with. A global tsunami of overwhelm, energy depletion, and burnout is upon us. At the root of this epidemic are 3 simple phrases: do more with less, faster is better, success requires struggle. These beliefs have been the engine, driving how we think, behave, and live. In fact, our collective brainpower, time, and resources have been laser-focused on accelerating our external world. Each year we ask ourselves some version of, how can we be more efficient, move at a quicker pace, make more than last year? Despite all we've accomplished with these efficiency-driving, money-making measures, why do we feel so depleted and behind? It's no wonder many of us are completely overwhelmed. I've been there. You don't have to be a doctor pulling all-nighters and saving lives to burn out. As a human, you naturally multitask, care for others, and work to exceed expectations, at work and at home. After all, hard work, ambition, and dedication have gotten you to where you are. You know how to push through nearly anything. Yet those very characteristics that have helped you accomplish so much may also become your Achilles heel. It's no wonder so many of us are on the fast track to burnout. How did we get here? For 90% of human history, we were hunter-gatherers, whose focus was finding our next meal while outsmarting predators and keeping our tribe safe. In this more precarious but less complicated existence, we had to be present. The ability to use our body's physical signals as important internal data to guide us was the difference between life and death. A rustling in the trees, or a sinking feeling in our gut, were signs that alerted us to lurking danger. As we foraged, feasted, and communed, we did so with safety in numbers and an innate understanding that we were more powerful together. The evolution from a hunter-gatherer society to an agricultural one created many benefits. We no longer had to travel in search of food, so life became more predictable and convenient. We began to own land, cultivate crops, and domesticate animals, which led to better health, longer lives, and larger families. The next challenge emerged: how to feed a growing population. Beginning in the 18th century, with the rise of farming machinery and mass food production, we entered the Industrial Revolution. Securing and developing external energy sources powered the quest to advance the pace and quality of our lives. Coal-powered railroads and steam engines sped up our ability to transport food and products over long distances. Socially separated communities could now travel to see one another with greater ease and speed. The 19th century saw electricity illuminating our homes and factories. Manufacturing assembly lines could now mass-produce products 24/7 with day, evening, and night shifts. The disruption in our biological circadian rhythm was a new way of life. The 20th century saw the ubiquity of gasoline-powered automobiles, which provided independence and freedom. Thanks to programmable computers, manufacturing processes became more automated. In the 21st century, the intersection of computers with the internet, smartphones, and online identities became an intrinsic part of our lives. Since the 2000s, we've had instant access to the world's information and to nearly every human being on Earth. The flip side was that we were also able to be accessed by anyone at any time. As a result of this last phase, the conversations happening between algorithms, devices, and us as users have dramatically shaped not only the speed of communication, but nearly every facet of our lives, by blurring the boundaries between our biological, digital, and social realms. As we've become accustomed to using apps, programs, and artificial intelligence, we've become deaf to our own internal human software. Here are a few everyday examples. Don't know where your company laptop is? Why tax your memory? It's embedded with a tracking device. Just ask the cloud. Wondering what your bulldog Olive is up to? No need to walk downstairs. Just view your backyard from the live feed on your home security app. Want to know how you slept last night? No need to check in with your body. Just glance at your readiness score on your wearable technology to see if you're well rested enough to take on the day. Several millennia ago, our hunter-gatherer ancestors could never have imagined the internet, let alone how it's become such an integral part of our daily lives. Alerting us of upcoming weather patterns or surrounding danger. Delivering food and groceries with the click of a button. Connecting us with our tribe, or, in fact, even helping us find a mate. If the hunter-gatherers who came before us were one with nature, we've become one with technology. It's almost as if we become machine-like ourselves. But even machines must rely on feedback mechanisms to function properly. And we humans are more than machines. Mother Nature has built the most sophisticated, evolved life form on the planet. When we operate merely mechanically and ignore internal feedback, we miss the most important data telling us how we're doing and where we really are in life. That data is invisible, but essential. In fact, if we only pay attention to what we can see, then we've already missed a huge opportunity to change course before we hit a wall. We must learn to pay attention to what we cannot see. What's going on inside us. Let me explain. From burned out to fully charged. Burnout is not merely a case of working too hard or feeling physically exhausted for an extended period of time. And most certainly, burnout is not a personal failure. Burnout is due to prolonged stress on multiple levels, not only physical, but also mental, emotional, social, and spiritual, resulting in a net drain of energy on one or more levels. And over 75% of professionals experience burnout at some point in their careers. Burnout is a misalignment of our inner and outer worlds. It occurs when we ignore the invisible data, such as our body's physical cues, our mind's conflicting thoughts, our heart's painful emotions, and our spirit's longing for purpose and meaning. Why would we ignore such important information coming from within us? There are many possibilities, but near the top of the list is our desire for love and belonging from others. Our quest to feel a sense of connection began as children in our families of origin. Then, as teenagers, that need was transferred to our peer groups and expanded into our romantic relationships. And sometimes, without our consciously realizing it, the drive to meet societal definitions of success resulted in us overriding these important internal signals and wondering how we got here. If you're burned out, your work, health, and relationships suffer. Your capacity to navigate challenging emotions, address conflict, or draw healthy boundaries diminishes. Naturally, it becomes easier to lose your cool in any situation. It's like driving a car from Calgary to Rio de Janeiro and not paying attention to whether the tires have good pressure, the gas tank is full, and the oil has been changed. To make it on the cross-continental adventure of your life, you need to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape and use a navigation system. Otherwise, at some point, you'll wind up out of gas, in the wrong place, all alone, with no idea how you got there. To reverse burnout, we need a different kind of map, one that identifies and addresses burnout on the levels where it's happening and replenishes our energy with simple, powerful steps toward healing. When you're in alignment, you generate a powerful internal energy source rather than seeking your energy externally. Each of us has a unique internal dashboard that integrates data from 5 main parts: the body, mind, heart, relationships, and spirit. When we're in sync with ourselves and our relationships are aligned, we can navigate a complex world with ease, clarity, and speed. When the incoming data from any part of this high-performance vehicle is not received, is misinterpreted, or even dismissed, we shift out of alignment and can find ourselves struggling, confused, or stuck. This is one of the primary ways we lose precious energy, leading us down the road toward burnout. For example, our minds are clever and have gone into overdrive to make sure we measure up to society's definition of success. Fueled by sugar and caffeine, we sacrifice sleep in the name of to-do lists, and we don't dare consider the exhaustion of our body, the pain in our heart, or our spirit's true definition of what would make us happy. We do all of this to belong and not get booted from the pack. Only now can I see how easy it was to fall into this trap myself. I happened to be good at math and science. I loved Mr. Russo, my accounting teacher, and thought that a career in accounting might be a good option. But after witnessing the disappointment on my father's face, I chose to become an engineer. And then, at the urging of my mother and grandparents, I went on to become a physician. Subconsciously, I believed those accomplishments would garner the love and approval of my family and our Indian community. I ignored my inner signals rather than tuning into them. My mind overrode my body's needs, ignored my emotions, and traded my spirit's passion and purpose for external approval. So at the tender age of 33, I burned out. After 3 months of medical leave and a significant amount of reflection, stress management, therapy, and coaching, I returned to work with fewer blind spots and a new approach, one that included paying attention to the invisible internal data that had been trying to guide me all along. I had to listen more deeply to my own needs and shift from being motivated by the outside world to becoming powered by me. When I realized that my physical health was connected to my mental, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being, I expanded my understanding of self-care. I began using my body's wisdom to guide me and communicate honestly in order to take care of myself while I cared for others. Not only did I become healthier and happier, I also felt physically repleted. I was able to be present for my patients in a new way, which resulted in greater healing for everyone. It took this dramatic life event and 2 decades of studying the causes and effects of burnout to realize that in order to thrive in a world that believes faster is better, we must also embrace the idea that together is faster. By together, what I'm suggesting, on an individual level, each of us integrates our physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual data to regain energy, know what we value, and make effective decisions to get back on track. The next level of together, on a community level, includes powerful relationships that provide connection and synergistic collaboration. Think of how inspired, innovative, and fulfilled we would be if we felt well-fueled, had a clear destination, followed the best guidance, and paid attention to all the signals coming our way. That kind of journey leads to a new level of self-confidence, collective synergy, and, dare I say, vibrance, connection, and joy. Having learned this the hard way, I'm inspired to simplify and personalize how to identify, heal, and prevent burnout for you and those you love and lead. This book provides a powerful guide to assess where you are on the spectrum from burned out to fully charged. To do this, you must be able to recognize and decipher important visible and invisible data to pinpoint where you're losing precious energy. Last, you must have simple, powerful, and practical steps to replenish yourself and get back on the road to health and happiness. In your life, as new challenges arise, your energy will fluctuate. The skills I share in this book will guide you back to being fully charged again and again. It will serve as a roadmap to identify where you are experiencing a net gain or drain of energy. Decipher the early signals coming from your body so that you can change course. Overcome mind traps that drain you of energy, i.e., perfectionism, control, judgment, blame, and comparison. Learn to navigate challenging emotions by responding rather than reacting. Draw healthy boundaries and prioritize your own self-care. Reconnect to meaning and purpose in your professional and personal lives. When you heal burnout in a comprehensive and balanced way, you decrease your stress, build a foundation of self-care, strengthen your relationships, and most of all, save precious time and energy. Over the past 20 years, I have paved a path forward where burnout is not an experience of guilt, shame, devastation, or failure, but instead a great awakening to self-compassion, self-trust, and deeper fulfillment, so that you can achieve a life
Sample complete. Ready to continue?